him in regards to Bridge Street.
It's not going anywhere.
Hi, I'm Steve. Did you know Baby Jane?
I met her a few times. I totally knew Baby Jane. I used to see. When are you ready? Oh, okay. I used to see Baby Jane at Reno Sweeney because I go back that far. And Louis Friedman was my friend who owned it. He became my friend. I didn't know him, at the beginning, but I went to see Baby Jane. She was they put her in fashion shows, all kinds of things that I remember seeing her do. And then, as they said, she got out of the business for a while. I started to play a room called Columbus on Broadway. It was on 47th Street, right next to a theater. It's actually they took the club away, I think, and became the bar for three guys named Mo. There was no cover and no minimum, and Baby Jane would come in every time I was there, which was twice a week. Rodhausen, as someone mentioned, Jim Gavin. Rodhausen was my pianist. She gave him music. He read it perfectly. She started working with Rodhausen. And I kind of feel like I had a teeny little bit of responsibility for getting her back out there. Because, it was just, there was a built-in audience. She didn't have to worry about getting an audience. It was there, and everybody loved her. And she came back every night. So I'll take a little bit of credit for getting her off her feet and putting her with Rodhausen at the beginning. And then she went on and met Ross Patterson and other people. But I miss her. I love her. She was amazing. And she was on my show many times, both live show and TV show. So Baby Jane, mwah, we miss you, we love you, and we'll never forget you.
That was perfect. Thank you. Go for it.
I'm Nancy Jo Hayes, and my father, and Jane's mother. Okay. I've never done this.
It's all right. Go for it.
I'm Nancy Jo Hayes. My father and Jane's mother were brother and sister, and so I am a first cousin of Jane's, and I want to share with you a poem that she thought was very special and wanted me to share. Oh, I have to look in. Hello.
One more time. Take one step back for me. You're doing great.
Okay.
Just want to make sure we get it all documented properly.
All right.
Remember, you're looking right where I'm pointing.
I keep forgetting.
It's all right.
Because I look out.
Go for it.
Hello, I'm Nancy Jo Hayes. I am Jane's first cousin. Jane's mother and my father were brother and sister. I want to share this with you at Jane's request. It meant a great deal to me and to her when we read it. Oh, I keep forgetting.
It's all right. What's the poem? Tell me the poem, I guess.
Oh, the poem is When I'm Gone by Mrs. Lyman. I've forgotten her last name.
It's all right. We got it on film. Tell me a little about your history with Jane. How far do you go back?
Well, actually, we go very far back. We spent a Christmas together in her house when probably 1954 or 6, and we played together. We 4 children, and we had a wonderful time. Santa Claus was good to us.
Was she as tenacious back then as she?
Oh yes, she was, and she was always.
Mention her name.
Jane always wanted to sing, always wanted to be noticed. This is not new. And her bedroom was especially beautiful, I noticed. She has quite an artistic eye. Is there anything else?
No, that was flawless.
Oh, thank you so
Thank you.
much,
That was
Michael. I
wonderful.
appreciate it.
It was great to meet you.
If I do,
No, you don't. I checked.
what am I going to say? Wait a minute.
Remember, this is only off the cuff.
I know.
When did you first? Tell me what you told me earlier.
Okay.
That's a great story.
I first saw Baby Jane Dexter at Helen's in Chelsea. And before I went, I told some friends of mine I was going to see her. And they knew the kind of music I liked and the people I listened to. And they said, "You're not going to like this at all. Why are you going to see Baby Jane Dexter? She's so against what you listen to." I went and I thought, these people are crazy. I fell in love with Baby Jane that night and then saw her every time after that. It just was an entire new experience. She knew how to take songs we all heard before and make them her own and make us hear them in a way that we never thought of. So we miss you, Baby Jane. We're very grateful that you were here.
Sorry. No, I'm just filming about 25 years. What's your name? George.
VAI radio in the 90s, and she was a frequent guest on this show called The Gay Show. And,
Tell it to us.
and I got her autograph here.
Well, show me on camera.
Okay,
Hold
sure.
on to this.
Okay, let me just get the.
This is important stuff.
Yeah, okay. Sure. I'm just trying to remember.
Off the cuff. Nothing
Oh,
memorized.
okay, no, all right.
Just tell me from whatever's in your heart.
Okay.
Tell me your name again. Take a step to your right.
Okay, we rolling?
We are rolling.
Hi, my name is George Riley. I met Baby Jane Dexter in the 1990s. I volunteered at WBAI Radio. There was a show called The Gay Show, and one of the hosts, Marl Becker, was a big cabaret fan, and he had Baby Jane Dexter on the show once, and first time it was, I guess, 1993, in tribute to one of the hosts of the show who had just died recently, and Baby Jane paid tribute to him. She sang the song When I'm Gone on the air live. It's actually before her album came out. She talked about her upcoming first album called
You got a memento. Let us see
When I Got Thunder. This came out shortly after, but the album was not out yet. But she said, "You have an upcoming album, and I want to dedicate this song by Phil Oakes called When I'm Gone to Alan Ross, who was a host of the show." And then she would be on other times talking about her album, and she was very supportive of the gay and lesbian community. And another host of the show, Larry Gutenberg, when he passed away, Baby Jane sang in tribute to him at his memorial. And I remember how angry she was then about the fact he had died of AIDS and how the government was not doing things to help people with AIDS. I just remember her anger, how angry she was, and she had a right to be angry. But she was a wonderful person, heart of gold, and just so glad I got to know her. And my late boyfriend, Andrew Martin, he was a big cabaret buff, and he knew her. And the poor guy, he was a heavy smoker. He died of a heart attack 3 years ago. I mean, we'd planned to see her, but I never got to see Baby Jane with him, unfortunately. But well, they're together now. Andrew Martin and Baby Jane and Marl Becker are all together. And Baby Jane was a wonderful person, heart of gold, and so glad I got to know her, and glad her music will be with us forever. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. That was fantastic. Hi, beautiful.
Hi, how are you?
Hold on to that for me.
All righty, I'll do that.
Take 2 steps back for me.
2 steps back. Story of my life.
You're going to look right here.
Okay.
What's in your heart right now?
Thinking of Baby Jane and all the people she's brought together. All these wonderful people. It's a reunion. And the Lady Lion and the Voice of Thunder. I'll never forget her. I was running a theater at the time she was at Reno Sweeney's. It was called the Impossible Ragtime Theater, the IRT. And we did 100 shows in 10 years in 4 theaters. So I didn't get to cabaret much in those days. I got to know her later. But I got to love her like everyone else. Long may you wave, Baby Jane. Mwah!
Beautiful, beautiful. Wonderful. Thank you much. I think she was definitely here tonight, don't you?
I think she was very much here. It was a beautifully produced event, and she was indeed, as they say, a force of nature. I met her in 1969 when I was working at a little improv place called the African Room, and out she came. This was in her big bluesy mama period, before her later period of activism and more serious things. But we loved what we heard, and she was our ringleader. We went out for drinks and we had conversation, and the fun part of her really was very much prevalent in my mind, and it was only later, especially tonight, that I realized the battles that she fought. But she won with such style and kept us all amused and enthralled by her singing.
You've got her in your heart forever.
She's in my heart forever. Forever young, forever there.
That's like a pate sauce, and there's some shrimp sauce.
Thank you. Hey, buddy.
I can't tell you. I can't turn.
I'll turn to you. Hold on to that. Go ahead.
Talk. I just talked.
Now, right here. You're looking right where my finger is. How are you feeling right now, John?
I feel a little worn out, but I feel great. It was such a great turnout and such a beautiful tribute to a woman who deserved it so much. I'm sitting here with my friend Steve Ross, who has a word to say.
I've already said my words now, my dear. I've already said my words.
John, tell me some stories. What's in your heart about Baby Jane?
The first time I met her was at Vito Russo's memorial at the Great Hall at Cooper Union. That's the first time I ever saw her in person. I'd heard of her. And she sang. She was very emotional. And right after that, Larry Kramer, the AIDS activist, got up and he told everybody that everybody in the room had murdered Vito Russo. and Baby Jane almost fell on the floor. That was my introduction to Baby Jane.
And the hurricane never ceased.
It never ceased, no, not at all. But I'm so glad that so many people were so generous with their time. And I tried. Was it okay? It was important to me that you like it. Thank you so much for what you did. Thank you so much for talking to me. Sorry I'm a little dizzy.
You're fine. Hey, beautiful.
You want me?
Of course I
What
do.
are we talking about, Baby Jane?
Hold on a second. I just
No.
Right, I know.
I know, we're professionals.
Tell me, what did you think of the evening?
It was beautiful. It was a celebration. You know, and I know Baby Jane, and a lot of memories came back of her stuff. 2 o'clock in the morning, I get an email. Will you, babe, take a video of my show? I must have done about 20 videos of her. I'll have to find them. And photos and cabaret convention.
Tell me about how you thought she evolved as an artist, as a singer, as a musical storyteller.
I think she started to take chances. She was very much into the deep stuff, and she started to actually take some Broadway stuff and put them in her style. And she was having a good time. And you know, one day she passed out at Metropolitan Room, you know that?
Yes.
And on the way out, she started to sing when they were carrying her around on the stretcher. You never, you know.
She would never stop singing.
Never stop singing. But, and you know, we were wondering if she was going to show up at this memorial, and she sure did twice.
I think she was here the whole time.
Oh, of course. The only thing is she was a little angry because they didn't put her on the bill. Right. Anyway, love her.
That was wonderful. Thank you.
Love her.
Thank you, dear. Wonderful. I love that. Sorry. It's an adventure.
Yeah.
What's in your heart right now?
Well, it's so wonderful to see so many people, as somebody else said, of a certain era, but there are enough of us still here to not only remember but to honor Baby Jane, and I think it's a wonderful outpouring of love, you know. And I do want to add one thing that wasn't, so it'll sort of be on the record, as it were. That I want to acknowledge that Irv Rabel had an enormous amount to do with Baby Jane at 88's and that part of her life, and his name wasn't mentioned that I heard anyway this evening, and so I'd like to just sort of acknowledge Irv Rabel's part in her life as the owner of 88's and one of the owners of 88's who was really behind her and made sure she had a stage and really helped promote her and bring her back after her time away. So I just wanted to say that because I felt he should be acknowledged too. So.
What's on your mind?
I love Baby Jane.
There'll never be another one.
That is so accurate. And we must have written in reviews about Baby Jane hundreds of times that she was a force of nature. And she always was. There was nobody who had the intensity, the ferocity, the balls to the walls sort of attitude that Baby Jane always brought. And she was always so close to tearing you apart with her own heart. And her hold on is something I will never forget. And at moments we're all feeling vulnerable, there's always Baby Jane singing, hold on.
The hurricane will never cease. Thank you so much. That was wonderful.
We knew Jane when
she was a child.
Oh my God, you got to tell me. You do it together.
Okay.
Shoulder to shoulder there.
Okay.
Here, move a little bit to that. So, what is this? Tell me a little about this water under your bridge.
Well, we knew Jane. Our families were friends, and we knew Jane as young children.
Our parents were friends.
Yeah, our parents were friends. And I remember I went to the same school as Jane. I knew her in nursery school and kindergarten and through third grade. And I have this vivid memory of being on the ground. I think I was in kindergarten with her sitting on me. My sister has some memories too.
She strong-armed you, did she?
Oh, listen, she was big and strong even then, and she was not intimidated by the boys.
Okay, so I knew Jane, of course, because our parents were friends, and I went to the same summer camp as Jane did, and Dallas was my contemporary. Jane was like 5 years older, and I remember she was like a chanteuse back when she was 12 at summer camp. She would get out and belt out a song, get up and belt out a song in front of the whole camp. And I did see her perform in the 70s. I think that was the last time I saw her, actually, and I went and talked to her after the show, and I remember she said, as soon as she saw me, she said, "Just don't tell anybody I'm your brother's age." Yeah, she was just wonderful.
That's perfect.
So I'm here with the incomparable Natalie Douglas. Hello. And Natalie has been 11 Mac Awards. 11 Mac Awards.
Sure.
Only 11, not 12 or 13,
No.
but 11. And she's been a fixture on the cabaret scene and in clubs, and she's an amazing singer. And you've got a good story about Baby Jane, I know. Everybody's got a story.
It's true. Well, first I will say that I was there for the Bree story.
Okay.
And she also took roles that night. I'm just saying.
Which you didn't add on.
I didn't say, but she took roles too. Yeah, I saw it. It happened. A wheel of Brie and roles. But yeah, I was lucky enough to share the dressing room at 88's downstairs in that charming basement. I had the show following Baby Jane on late weekend nights. And we had a million conversations. And my 11 o'clock show usually didn't get started till midnight because Baby Jane wasn't done. There was more to come. But we had so many conversations in that tiny dressing room, and she gave me fabulous advice. And I knew that she really liked me once she found out that I liked Abby Lincoln. And she realized that my taste in music was okay, and that meant that I was okay. I worshipped her, so it was a thrill to be in her presence. And as I said, she gave me advice, and because she was a tiny bit frightening, I followed that advice to the letter because I don't want her to get after me. But it was that big heart and that generosity and that kindness and humor. And she was always who she was, There was no pretense. If it was a good Baby Jane day, awesome. If it wasn't a good Baby Jane day, still awesome, because there was no pretending, So she was, for me, easy to love.
Well done.
Thank you, honey.
Do you have any photos with her, by chance?
I think I do. I'll look around at home.
How hard would it be to hunt them down?
I'll see what I have. I think mainly it's just that video footage.
Wait.
Photo taker. I'm one of those people who never have.
If you don't have it, it's okay.
I'll look.
But double check if you do.
I will look. I just had lunch with our niece today who lives in North Carolina.
Tell me her name again, sorry.
Angela.
Angela.
He still needs you. And my husband and I left lunch and went, we didn't take a picture.
What?
Let me know. Off the cuff.
Yeah.
I don't need you to slave for it. It's a special day. It's a special night. And you did a kick-ass job.
You know what? I just tried to channel. I don't know what I channeled. I just channeled what was in my heart and in my head, but mostly my heart. Baby Jane had a lot of heart. And she was here tonight. She was in the rafters.
Right?
Come on, that was crazy. She probably was like, I want to get on stage. She didn't want anybody to do it.
It wasn't just one
Yeah,
incident.
she was like over and over again, and she's probably going to haunt us on stage and in other cabarets and clubs, wherever it is. She's powerful beyond. Now she lives forever in her recordings and all the stories. We were grateful to be in her presence. It was an era that it still goes on, but it was something that will never be replicated, I don't think, and that's amazing. So we were all lucky, and we loved her.
And isn't it? She is now energy, and everything that happened that could have involved her involved energy.
Well, you know what? That's heavy. I'll tell you what I really think. Matter is neither created nor destroyed.
There we go.
So what does that mean? It means that I think what's happening right now with Baby Jane is that she and Irv Rabel are arguing over who's going to get the 8:30 slot on Saturdays at 88s. Is it going to be me or Sylvia Sims? It should be me. I'm at 8:30, not 11. That's what I think is really happening. God bless you, Baby Jane. Thank you. You know, she said to me once she used to open for a lot of comics. And Robin Williams she worked with, and I didn't think she was paying any attention to me. You know, she came up to me one day and she said, she goes, you're not doing the obvious stuff anymore. And I thought, ooh, what does she mean by that? And then I thought about it. So I realized that woman was like on target. She knew I was getting away. You can coast on I could do something easy, but to really dig in and have material and do so. So she knew. It was very particular. So she was amazing. And she was a true artist. There's some people who just coast on their talent. No, she dug in. And she had real life experiences that informed her singing and her music.
And Grizzled is not bad.
Yeah. Yeah, she was amazing. Yeah, and she really cared about people. She had empathy, which, in a world of narcissism, and we all have that. I mean, this crowd, any cabaret thing, everybody's like, yeah, me. But she had a you quality, which is important. And I think she was way ahead of the Me Too movement. Think about it. 15 Ugly Minutes was way ahead of the Me Too movement.
Oh, yeah.
And if she were here today, she'd be like, yeah, I knew that. So she was great. Anyway, it was an honor to be just part of it. John Hoagland did an amazing job. He knows people and he loves cabaret. He's got a million stories of, oh my God, and ailments, and we're all coming here with our walking wounded. That's how we are. We're complaining, but we're grateful. And then we all got to be together, which was, not the occasion we wanted to be together, but we got to honor her. So that was cool.
What a turnout.
Oh, come on. Larger than life. Thank you. Baby Jane, we love you.
Get in here.
Do you want some water or some?
I will when I'm done.
I don't have it. Let me think if you can get anyone. Did you get Julie Gold?
No. Get the one you were just talking to. The blonde.
That was her question of how much she's
Thank you for asking. Hold on 2 seconds. Wouldn't be the same without 60 seconds from you.
60 seconds?
This is off the cuff. Totally what's in your heart. And it's good that you're emotional. This is for John. Nobody's going to do anything with this that you don't want.
Okay.
This is not going live or anything.
Okay.
Except to your...
What do I do?
Now, you and Baby Jane have some water under your bridge. Tell me about it, right here.
Oh gosh. Well, she's the greatest. I mean, I started out as a fan, and we became fast friends. And I would go and see all of her shows, and I would take her out, and we would do things, and we would travel. And there's a whole list of things that someday I'll tell people, but not today. But I have to tell you that tonight was absolutely beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. Everybody who spoke, everybody who sang, she's up there saying yes. She's so happy, and I believe that. And I'm grateful to everybody who made tonight so special for her. She was one of my best friends in the world. I loved her dearly, and everybody here tonight, I feel, did the same.
Beautifully said.
Sorry,
Thank you. Well, you would never know because that was eloquent, and it was moist. It's moist and its
My
body.
it has a life of its own.
I'm going to say it again. You
Okay.
sure do tickle the Tigers pretty.
Thank you. I live in a very square world musically, and I can only accommodate myself. For example, I heard Karen Akers say to Ross Patterson, I might want you to play my song in B flat instead of C. C is all white keys. Easier. B flat, God only knows what you're getting into when you play in B flat. And Ross could have done it. I would have had to go home immediately.
You didn't need to change the key.
I wrote it in G, and before I start playing it, I say to myself, there's an F sharp in this song. If I strike any other black key, I've made a very, very regrettable mistake.
Well, I didn't hear one bad note, so I think you did it.
There was one questionable note towards the end.
I love that you acknowledge, acknowledging a higher power in the church. I thought that was really nice. Who knows what's out there, but I believe that there's definitely something out there, whatever that may be.
Well, I feel that when we're making music and we're doing it for love, we're as close to God as we can be. And I think that when we're making music, we're in God's house. But to be really in God's house is triple special. So it was a wonderful, beautiful, to be nestled in the skyscrapers of New York, sort of man and God intertwined, interwoven, all to say we love you, baby Jane. And we do. And we miss you.
She was here.
She was here. I hope she's on to bigger and better things, but she was here. And,
I mean, that energy, that electric, every interruption was electrical.
Yeah, it was. Was.
That was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wonderful. You're...
It's all about love.
The church has asked us to... Hold in the house! The church has asked us to kindly move along as they've got to clean up. But anybody who would like to take some food home that's still left, please do. They do have some lids for them. And we have a few bottles of wine as well. So please enjoy.
Is there a wheel of brie?
Before you scoot away,
yes.
Hold on to this for me. Hold on 2 seconds.
Okay. Well, hold on.
Phenomenal, phenomenal.
Oh, thank you.
Your words were very inspiring. As the person with probably the most water under the bridge with Baby Jane.
Oh, God, yes.
Tell me just what's in your heart about the night, about clearly she was here, or some component of her electrical energy was here. Crying out loud, right? Wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Talk to me. Sorry.
Well, I am so pleased that tonight was such a true celebration, a real celebration of my sister's life. And so often, celebrations don't have the upbeat, spiritual, as well as realistic viewpoint. But people spoke from their hearts, they sang from their hearts, and it gave a full meaning to a celebration.
That was perfect. Thank you. It was an honor to be here.
Those pictures you posted just made me so goddamn
jealous. Get kicked out. Hold on.
You look great and amazing.
Windows would be broken.
What do you want?
Sorry, dear.
I know. Behind him.
All right. Wouldn't you say she was here?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Not one electrical
Interruption.
Interruption. 3, 4. I mean, we kind of lost count. What's in your heart right now? Besides being
Here, okay, first of
full
all,
of electricity.
all right, first of all, Baby Jane was a great entertainer. And tonight was truly like one of the greatest evenings of entertainment that I've experienced ever. It's one of those nights that if you weren't here, you weren't here. You missed it. Just like a cabaret show. If you weren't there, you missed it. It's live entertainment. And just the total gamut of emotions that she presented on stage always. Her power, her humor, her pathos, her genuine desire to communicate, her empathy, all of it was on display. Her tenacity, certainly, but all of it was on display in all of these performers and these speakers, and it was a night I don't think I'll ever forget. And anyway, I had a blast because Ross Patterson jumped in at the last moment. Don't you photobomb me, you motherfucker. Don't photobomb. No, I don't drink red. I don't drink red. Get me some white. Get me white. But Ross Patterson jumped in at the last minute on my request, and that was, is it white? Excuse me, I'm going home with this man. He just gave me a bottle of wine. Goodbye. That's all it takes.
It was beautiful. Thank you. Bravo.
It's a cheap bottle of wine. At least it's Chardonnay, not table. Oh, no, not Chardonnay. Well, listen. Go give it to somebody.
Would you speak for 1 minute? He booked Reno Sweeney.
Hi, I invented Reno Sweeney with Louis Friedman and Cole Porter's help from Anything Goes, and I'm here standing. But I forgot to bring a poem that Jane loved to have me read over the phone to her.
Tell me.
Well, if I could find it, I had 2 copies, and I think they're up in the pew. It's called The Longboat by a former poet laureate of the United States. I forget his name, but it's a beautiful poem called The Longboat. I think it's up in the pew. Michael, it's all yours. Did you want to ask me anything else?
What was Baby Jane like early in her career?
The first conversation I remember with Baby Jane was one afternoon, and we sat down at the bar, which wasn't open yet. We had not gotten our liquor license yet, which meant Jane had come and done auditions for us. And she said, I can't decide whether I want to be a singer or a comedian. And she had a marvelous sense of humor. But when you heard that voice, the voice enfolded you and wrapped you into it. At least she did with me. Very much like Natalie over here, who I've seen at Birdland.
There'll never be another one, will there?
What?
There'll never be another one.
Not another Baby Jane Dexter. No. And she
Wouldn't
could
you say
swear like a
truck
fireman.
driver?
Absolutely. And I was on the recipient of that several times, but I loved it. I wish I had had a tape recorder for some of those conversations.
That was wonderful.
I wish I had that poem.
We'll look it up. We'll find
I'm
it.
preoccupied by it.
It's all right.
It's called The Longboat.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Please, get over here. Hi. What's your name? Hi, Michael. I'm Michael Stever. Give me 30 seconds. This is totally off the cuff. Go for it.
Well, when I first met Baby Jane was at Reno Sweeney's in the bar. In 1972, I'd say it is. And she was big, beautiful, and she had these 2 streaks of platinum hair just along the front. And she was very, very funny. And we'd sit in the bar and talk, and I got friendly with her. And then after a couple weeks, we went out to dinner to Chinatown. It was always Chinatown at 2 in the morning with Baby Jane. But I'd ask her when they came to take the order, I'd say, baby, do you want something to drink? And she'd say no. And then they'd deliver the food, and I would get a drink. And all of a sudden, I see her reach into her bra and pull out a can of Tab. And that happened many, many times after that. That's where she carried it. Is that enough?
Perfect, thank you. I got 4 minutes. 4 minutes left on this tape.
I don't know what to say.
Make it fast. Nothing could be more wonderful or truer than you were singing.
Well, maybe I should quit while I'm ahead.
No.
Well, we all love Baby Jane, and I admire her. Who else can Shanghai a whole wheel of brie? I've heard of party gifts, but that's one for the books. But her heart and her talent are as big as that wheel of brie, and we miss her and we love her, and I think she was here for every fire alarm that went off tonight. She was always too hot for the room. Do you want something to drink?
God, that was perfect.